Welcome to the 11th episode of the Animal Riot podcast, brought to you by Animal Riot Press, a literary press for books that matter. It's your producer, Katie, here, and this episode has been edited to reflect our new name. If you're new to the Animal Riot community, welcome, and you can find out more about us at animalriotpress.com. Now on to the episode with your host, Brian Birnbaum, and today's guest, Christopher Gonzalez.
I'm your host, Brian Birnbaum. We're here today with Christopher Gonzalez, a writer of fiction and nonfiction, fiction editor at Barrel House Magazine, and one of the hottest new influencers on social media.
Woo.
And with us as well as our lovely producers, Katie Rainey.
I'm many people.
Chris, what exactly are you an influencer for? The people need to know.
We want to know.
Oat milk.
Oat milk.
I want to know how to be a brand ambassador, an influencer. I want to be an oat milk model. Tell me how to do
Oh,
this.
wow, that's ambitious.
An oat milk model. I'm not even just an influencer.
I don't know. I think to me they're synonymous because all I see are like influencers on social media who are models.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not quite a model. I'm perfect for Twitter because you don't need to necessarily see my face.
That's bullshit. You're gorgeous.
Oh, God.
So how did you come onto this oat milk journey?
God. Like I do with everything, I just tweet randomly, mindlessly. Don't even think too much about it. I mean, if you look through my Twitter, you'll find a bunch of typo-ridden tweets because I just fire them off. And this one in particular, which I pulled up to read.
Beautiful.
I think.
We're going to do a little Twitter reading.
A little Twitter reading.
It's everything we were against 5 minutes ago.
Now we're all on board.
But now that we got an oat milk influencer here, I mean, let's get in. Let's get on the bandwagon. All right, shoot.
Yeah, so the tweet that changed my life, I tweeted it on February 9th. It is with a heavy heart that I must admit oat milk lives up to the hype. I'm working through what that means for my life, my brand. I will be taking no further questions at this time. And I just fired it off. And
that was the initial. That was like the original oat milk tweet.
That was the original oat milk tweet.
So this has all happened in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was thinking about that on my way up here. I was like, it feels like 6 months, but also it's just been 3 weeks.
And now you're on a podcast talking about
oat milk.
So what's the deal? Like, what's going on now? Are you making millions, or are you on the path to millions, or is this just? Are you just trying to get famous?
I wish.
And turned on oat milk.
I'm using it as a stepping stone to my career, probably for like, I don't know, a cologne line down the line.
a cologne,
an oat milk, an oat milk scent,
oat milk scent,
chocolate,
very
chocolate
earthy.
raspberry.
Okay, so I have to admit that I've actually never tried oat milk.
No, but we're about to.
I
We're
know.
about
Is that how we're starting?
I guess.
Like
Is that why you didn't introduce the challenge?
Guys, this is a literary podcast. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my God. That's blasphemous. We have this hour's brand of fuckery every podcast. So we are drinking rosé, but modestly, abstemiously, moderately is the right word. But let's make the challenge about oat milk and about consuming it and not knowing what it is really, other than, is it made out of oats?
It is made out of oats.
Okay.
And like,
Alexa wants to chime in here real quick.
What was that? She's got opinions on oat milk.
That's the thing.
wow,
Yeah,
is she an oat milk truther?
No, right. She's in your Twitter right now, just going like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, yeah, so we're going to try it?
And we don't know what allergies or, other afflictions we might have. So that's the challenge. We might die right now.
I mean, I can tell you right now what it's free from, but maybe not. Maybe that's not as exciting.
What
it is.
Free from?
I'm actually riveted, but I want to know and then drink it anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's free from artificial colors, tree nuts, soy, peanuts, lactose, gluten, dairy, artificial preservatives, and artificial flavors.
Wait a second. Oat milk is free from gluten?
Okay, you would think that this is actually like what is it called? Planet Oak?
Planet Oat, yeah.
Planet Oak.
Planet Oak.
Planet
Oak.
Right
we
now-
make oat milk.
Right now, you would think that they actually paid us. Like, you just chimed in, you were like, wait a minute. It's free of soy milk?
That's actually really true. I just realized my long lost career in
I think
advertising.
Planet Oak
Damn Planet Oak.
I think Planet Oat owes us some money here.
Yeah, we'll hit them up. We'll break their knees in a little bit.
I can read the description and really seal the deal.
Yeah, okay, read it. Let's hear
we
this.
actually.
Yeah, we need to
let's do
know.
this.
Planet Oat is a new brand of oat milk now available in stores. A non-dairy beverage, Planet Oat is a full-bodied milk alternative that has great taste, has no sugar added, and boasts nutritional benefits thanks to the Mighty Oat. With its rich, creamy texture, Planet Oat is enjoyable by the glass, in cereal, and coffee, and is great for cooking. And I can confirm all of those.
What did you cook it with?
I know hot chocolate, but...
Okay.
Wait a second. Here's the real question. Can you make oatmeal with oat milk?
I haven't tried that.
That's...
Well, we got a plate of cookies. There's oatmeal cookies on the
Yeah.
table. We did get
Whoa.
cookies specifically for this.
We did. Yeah. God,
Is there going to be a dunk challenge? or-
Okay, I want to try it.
I almost think we need to do a part 2, like follow-up, because I need to know if you can make oatmeal with oat milk.
Is it too much oat? Is there a daily limit to how much oat you can...
I don't know.
I don't know.
Are we asking like the FDA, or are we asking Planet Oat?
I'm asking for myself because I've consumed a lot of oat in the last couple weeks.
I want to know where so you hope this trajectory of oat milk takes you somewhere.
No, not at all. I'm enjoying it. They sent me
Here's what
4
we're gonna
cartons.
Here's what I'm gonna do. Every drug or supplement I ingest, I don't look at the research. I look at anecdotal evidence on Reddit. So that's what we're gonna do about oat milk.
Okay,
right
yeah,
now.
I want to know what Reddit has to say about oat milk.
How much oat milk is too much oat milk? Reddit.
And while you ask, should I pour? I have extra creamy and chocolate, dark chocolate.
Ooh, I want to try dark chocolate.
This is beautiful.
Brian, which one do you want?
The first hit. I want the regular because
Okay.
I need to I'm a real purist. I need,
So I don't have the regular or original, but this is just a creamier version of that. Tastes the same.
So what do you mean? It's a creamier version. It's
It's extra creamy.
It's extra creamy.
extra creamy. You know,
Okay.
it's sort of like a half and half.
What does that do?
substitute.
How did they make it extra creamy? Did they like milk the oats?
They whip air and I don't know. Did they fold
I don't actually know. How do you
milk and oat?
Basically,
milk-
they build an oat cow and then they just milk the udders, and everyone watches.
I just picture
This
them
is a literary
soaking
podcast.
oatmeal and then getting in there with maybe grape stomping, but with oats.
Oh yes, I love that.
feet.
I'm half Italian, so I can get into that.
You can get
We're
in
gonna
there.
I
get
can get into that.
barefoot into a vat of oats and just stomp
Oh,
them.
first line. Okay, the title of this Reddit post, and this is the first hit on Google. Oat milk is getting trendy, but is it really all that healthy? Scandal. So,
All right.
first line. From what I understand, unsweetened oat milk. Well, it's actually spelled unsweeted.
Important.
Unsweated.
Unsweeted. No, it's with 2 E's.
Okay.
Unsweeted oat milk is made by soaking oatmeal in water. That sounds like making oatmeal, to be quite honest.
And then just pouring out the runoff.
So if I add oat milk to my oatmeal, I feel like it's just extra oaty.
Yeah.
That's a good adjective, actually, oaty.
Extra oaty.
Yeah, like on all my new hip hop hits, I'm just gonna be like, "Yo, we extra oaty." we
Odie.
You want the
I want the extra creamy. That's good. Let's go with that.
Katie, you want the dark chocolate?
Yes, I want to try.
I'm not
that.
gonna sip until like we're all
Okay.
like let's treat this.
I like how they said the Mighty Oak. I mean, the Mighty Oak. Why do I keep saying oak? The Mighty Oat. The Mighty Oat. And you got to give me a chocolate chip cookie with this.
Yeah, okay. But you got to take a sip first before, like, without, like,
Okay.
sans cookie, you know? I'm going to go oatmeal cookie with my creamy oat.
Oat on oat.
Oh, we got Rosetta in the other room whining because she clearly wants some oat milk. It's it's the new...
We are 10 minutes into this podcast, and all we have talked about is oat milk.
Honestly, I'm probably going to pump out a novel real quick this weekend after I have all this oat milk. Oh, well, I dipped.
Ooh.
This is... All right, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I already took my sip.
And I want everyone to describe their experience after they're done.
That is fine. That is delicious.
It's sumptuous. I would say it tastes like a creamier version of rice milk.
Yeah.
Like a heartier version of rice milk.
I think almond milk, but that's just because
Almond
it's
milk. That's
the one
really good.
I
No,
had
you're right.
most recently.
I probably haven't had rice milk since like 94 or so. To be
The
honest, I just
halcyon
kinda,
days of rice milk.
I kind of just pulled that out of my ass.
It's pretty good.
Can you hear us? Can you hear our mastication,
Good
friends?
shit.
Can you hear me mechanically digesting?
What's sad is once I'm out of all 4 of these cartons that they sent me, I don't know where my life goes from there.
I think
To the stars.
you need to get the other brands of oat milk competing for your love and your plug here.
Does Oatly need more? I feel like they're out of my league. Planet Oat is
Oatly?
young and scrappy.
Oh, okay, I see.
Oatly sort of reigns supreme, I think.
They're the OGs of oat milk.
Maybe. They're the ones I see around a lot.
It's pretty tasty. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh no. Second paragraph of this post. I mean, I want to say this is conjecture. I'm not, I'm just the messenger.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a lesser milk, in quotes, compared to other vegan options. What do you have to say, Christopher Gonzalez, in response to that claim as Planet Oats / Planet Oaks official representative?
Well, other vegan options haven't gotten in touch with me, so they can't be shit, I think.
Wow, very business savvy answer right there.
I'm trying to get another shipment here.
Wait, just because we're eating these cookies, you're not vegan, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I've had like 4 meat products today alone.
I was like, oh shit. I hope he's not vegan. We just fed him.
Well, now Rosetta likes you.
Wait, what's in these?
I mean, they're not vegan cookies. There's eggs in them.
The last
Yeah.
line. Anyone know a lot about oat milk? Question. What's the point? I've tried the Pacific and the Oatly versions. The Oatly. I like that. The Oatly versions. And they both tasted like leftover cereal milk. You know what? Who is this? User Highlighter Blue. Fuck you, man. I'm highly enjoying this.
All right, I have some literary questions for you.
Natural segue.
But I think that every once in a while, I would respect an oat milk. That is really... I either want to say oak milk or oatmeal.
Or Planet
Oat milk or Planet Oak. I'm really struggling with this one here today.
Oak milk. Planet Oak. Oatmeal.
I think you should throw a random oat milk back at us every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
God,
that's beautiful.
I don't think
yeah.
I have that many.
Yeah.
But sure, we can try.
We'll savor them. We'll savor them for throughout this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, we met you. How long ago was that? That was like a couple months ago when you came in, or was it last month? I guess
Last month.
Wow, I met you through Mike Tager over at Mason Jar Press. Shout out to our friends at Mason Jar Press again. How do you know them, by the way? Your book's not out with them, right?
I don't have a book.
Okay.
But thank you for reminding me.
Hey, I don't have one either, so you know.
Purpose to bring you in to remind you.
Just scold me, shame me.
Well, usually he sends me his authors who have
Yeah.
books coming out, and so at first when he first emailed me, I was like, oh yeah, of course, any of yours. So I just wonder how you knew them to begin with.
I think I've known him probably as long as I've been a part of Barrel House on Twitter at least, but I didn't meet him in person until fairly recently, I think, in Pittsburgh at Barrel House Writer Conference that we do in Pittsburgh back in October.
Oh, you guys do your own conference.
We
Twice
do
a
twice
year.
a year.
Whoa.
Yeah, the next one's actually coming up
In April,
on
yeah.
April 27th. I think that's a Saturday. One-day conference.
Interesting.
We were actually I was talking with Mike about the one in the fall, because I think you guys are open to pitches from different places, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
For things, I think we might pitch something.
Yeah.
For the conference.
Pitches for what exactly? For people setting up booths or something? Or what do you mean?
Craft workshops or
I see.
panels, I believe. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah. Can you just frame the conference just a little bit?
Yeah, so anyone who's familiar with AWP,
We will be.
You will be. Are you going?
Yes.
It's our first
are,
year.
Are you going?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'll
you
be
are.
there. Yeah, I'll be
That's right.
there.
You couldn't read at our plate.
No.
Because you're so popular. You know,
No, not at all.
the oat milk people need you to You're doing a press conference.
2-hour oat milk related reading. God, can you imagine anything worse?
I've actually just gotten word that they're pulling you in on the cap table, and they're thinking about making you like serious, like CEO or like CFO or something.
Of Planet Oak.
Of Planet Oak, which is their shell company where they launder all of their oat milk money.
You know, I thought it was going to be, when I got that initial email, I really thought it was going to be like Fire Festival level of like, I don't believe this for a second. And it did take a couple days before she got back to me with like tracking information for the package, which was 25 pounds. And also I thought this can't be real.
So I know we want to talk about the Barrel House stuff, but like I'm not satisfied yet with the oat milk stuff.
We're back. We were there for 2 seconds. Now
No,
we're
because
back.
honestly, what is this package and what exactly are you doing for them? And
Nothing, not a damn thing. They didn't even say, could you, in exchange for tweets.
They just sent you oat milk.
They just sent me oat milk. But I did take a photo and hashtagged it sponsored content.
And was that required?
No. Which honestly,
just
they
did
maybe
that.
should have asked me to do anything.
So was this their publicist?
I think
or?
I think it was just like a account coordinator or
Oh,
someone.
they need a publicist or something.
But clearly they know what they're doing because right now we're sitting on a podcast talking about them.
or we
Exactly.
don't know what we're doing.
We could be getting money from Planet Oak.
yeah.
I want to cut so I can buy more oat milk because now I have to buy it.
Listen, you pay me $1 million, I'm putting $995,000 into it into oat milk straight up into preferred stock.
Yeah, I'm sure it's taking off. That won't be bad.
So the Barrel House.
Yeah, the Barrel House
Okay.
conference.
Yeah, that was actually less. Yeah, that was less interesting than I thought it would be. Not the oat milk thing is interesting. I was hoping that they were really putting you up on the pedestal.
No. I thought,
But they're incompetent, clearly.
well, there goes your sponsors.
Damn it. Brian,
No,
you just
no,
screwed
I'm
this.
I'm
calling a
ready.
spade a spade.
I'm ready to work with them. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm ready to work with them.
Yeah, I think it was just free publicity. They didn't even retweet my tweet. They liked it. I don't know how many followers I have now. They had like 5 at the time. And the account was started in October, but they really hadn't been tweeting since,
Okay,
I guess,
Are we gonna
3 or 4
die
weeks ago.
from this oat milk? Like, who are these people?
It's a good way to go. I think. It's pretty tasty.
Yeah, my taste buds are absolutely jumping.
Is it
Try
at
the chocolate.
planet_oat? Yep, that's
Yep.
definitely what it is. They have 9 followers and
Whoa.
4 tweets.
Let's tweet at them. Can
Okay,
we do that?
we're about to tweet at
Let's
them.
do it. Yeah.
Okay, so the Barrel House conference.
The Barrel House conference. Yeah, but it's like an less overwhelming version of AWP. It's also way more affordable, and it's very much about writers across any level. But I feel like a lot of people who get the most out of it are people just starting out and just really need sort of an extra push. It's an opportunity to attend panels and workshops. There's also a speed dating type situation in which you're paired with an editor for like 5 minutes and they read maybe a page or 2 of your work
cool.
and give you immediate feedback on that. And it's also just a great networking opportunity.
How long have they been doing that?
Oh God, I'm going to get this wrong, but maybe 12 years.
Oh, wow.
If not more, something like that, way before I joined Barrel House.
Is this a paid subscription for Barrel House, or because like how do they put this together?
It's through a lot of, I guess, partnerships. The Pittsburgh one takes place at Chatham University. I hope I didn't butcher that, in Pittsburgh. And one of our Barrel House editors, Sheila, I think it heads the MFA program there. So we have it there in the fall.
Christopher just had a oat milk burp.
It just
Which was soothing and refreshing.
So please, everyone, remember that you can feed your babies oat milk and then burp
and
them.
then burp them.
Okay. Good.
Was it the oat milk or the wine that I had before it?
It's the oat milk.
Yeah, the rosé dark chocolate oat milk combo here is
And the cookie.
and the cookie
Hitting
is
all the right.
It's just really working for me
I'm
here.
about to chase my oat milk and cookies with some rosé, and then chase that with
Give
some
me
more
another-
oat milk
give me
and
another
cookies.
cookie.
Okay. Which oatmeal or oatmeal raisin? Or?
Oatmeal raisin.
Oatmeal raisin.
Oak meal.
Oak.
Oak meat. Give me that oak meat. Do you present anything at the Barrel House conference? Are you doing anything for it?
Yeah, so the one in the spring, which is in DC, Arlington area, it's at Mason. Mason University, right? That's a place. Why I should know all of this. George Mason.
George Mason. Yeah, I know them because they miraculously went to the Final Four about 15 years ago, something like that.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
You've held on to that.
I
detail.
have. It was great.
But yeah, it's at it's at George Mason on April 27th, and I will be doing 2 panels. One is a general like editors panel, so literary mag editors. I think 4 of us are doing it. We just talk about general sort of advice, tips for writers submitting to journals, what to do, what not to do, and answering any questions. And then another one I'm doing, which I pitched along with Split Lips editor-in-chief Caitlin Andrews Rice. She and I decided to do a panel on called What We Talk About When We Talk About, or What We Mean When We Talk About Literary Patience, and sort of just talking about like taking your time with your work, revising.
Oh, I'm all on
editing it.
board with this.
And we're on that panel with, I don't know anyone's names. This is terrible. Tyler Barton.
This is the title of this episode will be Oat Milk.
Like Chris can't remember anything past 6 p.m.
Is oat milk vegan?
Tyler Barton, who co-founded Fear No Lit, and Evelise Rodriguez, who is the author of Love, War Stories, a short story collection. And she's also one of our featured authors at the conference.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it's going to be a event-filled day. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've only ever been to the one in Pittsburgh, so this will be my first time doing the DC conference, but I'm stoked.
We should try to get down there.
Oh, definitely.
My parents live in DC.
Swing through. Do
Yeah,
it.
we should.
Oh, no, I was going to ask, so I want to go back to that literary patience thing.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I was going to ask about that too.
Go ahead.
Do you have a question?
I was going to make one up.
Okay. Well, no, my question was basically going to be what are your thoughts on literary patience? What, was this a preconceived thing? Did you guys say we are interested specifically in this topic, or was it handed to you by Barrel House?
No, it was just Caitlin and I. So I'm also a contributing editor at Split Lip, which just means I get to consult and like weigh in on like some flash fiction submissions. But Caitlin and I were just discussing sort of how Twitter, which we can talk about more of, but Twitter is...
Oh, we will.
sort of makes you think like publishing happens fast and quick, and people are publishing all the time, which is amazing, but some people are slower. And I think I've reached a point in my writing where I understand that like I'm a little slow at drafting, I'm slow at revising.
Same.
And I've accepted it, and I think I'm prouder of my work because of it, that I've accepted it. So I think this just came from this idea that there's no reason to rush, there's no reason to, publish work early. It happens when it happens, and not feel pressure about that.
You're speaking my gospel right now.
Yeah, I think it's important because Twitter makes you think, and can make you think that like you're falling behind, but really you're not. And there are people who can write quickly and publish fast, and that's great for them. There's no one way to do it.
Yeah, the only way to do it is to do it well.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
whatever
only
that
way to
means
do it.
for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know what you mean, especially with self-publishing these days, because anyone can like press X 90,000 times and then copy and paste it and then publish it feasibly. But
Did you read my work in progress?
it's in
Called oat milk?
it's the evolution of binary. I don't even know what it is. It's like you have to split the photons in the screen to see what's behind the X.
I would really like to see an experimental flash fiction piece on oat milk from you.
Oh, God.
I feel like that's coming.
I think it has to.
Yeah, hook me up with something here.
Yeah,
let me kill the extra creamy real quick.
The chocolate is delish.
It's
divine.
I'm sure it is.
super.
And much to the chagrin of this Redditor, I'm sure it has sugar added.
And you know what? Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Who does
I'm
love
not drinking
sugar?
this as a milk alternative, which I guess is why I'm like, who cares?
Do you like regular milk?
In cereal, I don't drink it.
Yeah,
but
me
like
neither.
I'll eat it.
He drinks a glass of milk like a fucking cereal
No,
killer.
well,
It's
I
disgusting.
literally just the last couple of days have been buying milk. I gotta say, it doesn't make my tummy feel very well. So
I
oat
think
milk,
the same for me,
You know.
really.
So oat milk,
Oat
is
milk.
the good alternative for you.
Planet Oat.
There's no lactase in it, or no.
Lactase?
Lactase is what we use to
Oh.
break down lactose, I think. Don't quote me. I'm not a scientist. I'm a writer.
So you were saying about Twitter, though.
Yeah, Twitter.
That's Brian is new to Twitter, relatively. He's been on it for a couple of years, but never really used it, and I've taught him the secrets.
Oh yeah, I had like 90 followers for like 5 years, and then she taught me how to use it at like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now I almost have 2,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It took me like 5 years just to get what I have, which isn't 2,000. I need these secrets from Katie.
I will tell you.
Yeah, but we're not going to broadcast
Yeah,
them.
no.
Because you have oat milk has to pay us for that kind of information. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, if oat milk, Planet Oat, if you want my publicity skills, you got to pay me.
Yeah.
Well, you and your 9 followers.
Yeah. Seriously.
I think that's fair.
What's the point of Twitter? From your point of view, I'm just wondering.
I mean, I really do think it varies per person. I think it can be your news source. That's risky, but it sort of can be a constant stream of news if you need it. Mm-hmm. For me, though, it's really about community building and just meeting other writers, you know. And there are so many pockets of Twitter that exist that I haven't even explored, which is kind of crazy. Like Stan Twitter is completely ridiculous.
What is Stan Twitter?
Stan Twitter is like teenagers.
You're an obsessive fan of something?
You're an obsessive fan. You have like your favorite.
Is. I'm a stan of ASAP Rocky. I'm a stan of ASAP
Right.
Rocky,
So if you were part of Stan Twitter, ASAP Rocky would be your avatar.
I see.
And you would just tweet constant ASAP Rocky news.
I see. Yeah.
You would retweet things. You would put down
free publicity.
Other stands who don't
so
necessarily
is there
agree.
like a hashtag this follows, or is it like it's different Twitter users that they like make up their own, like I would make up my own avatar as ASAP and...
Yeah. Yeah. And you just sort of find other people like that. I mean, it's like literary Twitter sort of exists, but there's there's like hashtag #writing and other hashtags like that.
It's the hashtag writing community. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Hashtag #writing gets more tweets, I would say.
Maybe.
It does, but yeah, the writing community is kind of the base. But I want to talk about the etymology of Stan. Do you know where it comes from?
From the Eminem song.
Yeah, from the Eminem song.
Yeah.
So Stan.
That's where it comes from?
Stan?
Yeah.
So he's like obsessed with Eminem, like, you know, the character. So if you're a Stan, like, you know.
Yeah.
So you're a crazy ASAP fan, and I live with
I'm not a Stan, but like, you know, I'm not a Stan of like anything really.
Unless, Chris, are you a Stan of oat milk now?
Well, check my avatar. No, don't. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not a stan. I don't have the energy.
Yeah, that's because you haven't had enough oat milk.
I need to replenish.
What do you think about Twitter? Because I spent like years shitting on Twitter.
Yeah.
And now I'm using it, and I'm very dissonant.
What were your problems with Twitter?
It's a cesspool.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, like, it's kind of like, you know, in democracy, everyone gets a vote. I don't think everyone should. Like, you know.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Straight up.
Okay.
Is this a literary podcast or political?
I was about to say, is this a men's rights, like, suddenly?
Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Well, I feel like I'm on a gotcha.
I'm saying if you look, okay, so for example, if you look at Brexit, that's a perfect example. You give everyone a vote on something they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's what you get. You know, I'm serious. Anyway, that's my point about Twitter. It's that you get all the voices,
right? And
some people shouldn't be talking about certain things.
Well, sure.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
You know, I think that happens everywhere, on and off Twitter.
That's kind of the beauty of...
I'm like half joking, but you know, that's why
half joking.
Yeah, half joking.
No, I agree with you though that the literary community is super strong on Twitter. I mean, more so than any other platform, and that's why that's where we have the majority of our followers. It's on Twitter because it's so huge. The writers of Instagram is kind of just like a...
Oh God, I haven't even tried.
Like people like post their crappy poems, you know, on a Canva made like little photo, and that's pretty much what it is.
It's like they spent more time on the photo than the actual
poem. Yeah.
No, I think Twitter is great because it is all about the words at the end of the day, right? And I think that's why maybe writers are drawn to it.
Yeah, we've been meeting a ton of people. It's been really great for that, and it's been really great to just... I mean, that's kind of what we want to do with our press anyway, is build community and be able to talk with writers one-on-one and have more meaningful conversations as a publisher. And so Twitter's been a really great outlet for that. But it is definitely a time suck sometimes.
Yeah. It's like my work, when I'm at work, it's like my work email is one tab and Twitter is the other.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just sort of like, you know, there is that element to it that you feel like if you step away for too long, you've missed out on something.
Yeah.
I think that's real, and that's not necessarily healthy. But I've accepted that's about myself. I will live and die on Twitter.
Your tweets make my day most of the day.
God,
Yeah, like
that's
I
so
told
nice.
you the other day I was on and I tweeted at Chris because like every time I popped up, Twitter has that new algorithm now where it's not just uploading like whatever is new. It's doing like who you interact with. I guess it's trying to pull some Facebook shit.
Yeah, not about that.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not a huge fan, but yours kept popping up first because I guess I had like commented on 2 things, and then suddenly all your tweets are like popping up first, and I was like, Chris, I swear I'm not stalking you. This is the algorithm popping it up every time first. But you're like, your work tweets are particularly hilarious to me because I will also be at work like trolling Twitter, and you'll pop up something about hot wings and a Diet Coke like you did the other day. What's your Twitter handle so people can go follow you?
At Lives in Pages.
Oh, that's right. At Lives in
Yeah,
Pages.
and your photo is like the Obama hope photo. I love it.
I needed a new author photo. It was time.
It's beautiful. I love it. No, it's actually more cheeky than that. It's not like demagogish. Don't worry about it.
Thank God.
What's above this? What's your cover photo right here? I'm not
That
familiar.
is Raul Esparza and I can't remember her name, from the 2006 Broadway revival of Company, which is one of my favorite musicals.
Wow.
I see.
Yeah, I've also, and you might have, I tweet about Company a lot because it's sort of always on my mind.
Does that conflict with the oat milk stipulation in your contract that you must tweet 0 times a day about oat milk?
No.
Are you a theater person as well?
I enjoy it. I don't
Yeah.
perform, I don't act, but
Yeah.
I love
Same.
musical theater.
I do too.
Yeah, it's my shit. And like Company is one of those musicals that I think I was just introduced to like 2 years ago. A friend mentioned it, and then I went back and listened and watched because that one was recorded, the 2006 Broadway production, and like became obsessed, and I'm still obsessed. So if I were a stan, I guess it would be for Company specifically, but I don't think there's much traction. Maybe, I don't know.
Speaking of your work, though,
Yeah.
you were starting to talk about that before the podcast. Where do you work?
I work at Macmillan Publishers in their digital production department.
Does your work ever ask you where your book is?
No, they could not be less interested in
Oh, yeah.
any of us. And like there are many people who work in publishing who write. A lot of people in editorial who do. In my department, 3 of us write. The company could not care less about that. Yeah.
In terms of that, like where are you with your work right now?
I'm working on a collection, and it's, as I mentioned before, it's slow going, but it took a while for me
Of short stories.
Of short stories, yeah. It took a while for me to figure out because I didn't want to just like write a bunch of stories and then decide they should be in a collection, which I know is one way to do it. You sort of just write stories over time, and then you're like, I have 10, 15, 20. I really wanted it to be a cohesive project that felt thematically linked. So it took a while to get to a point where I thought, oh, this is the angle to the collection. So now I'm working towards it and trying to stick to, writing stories in that vein, even if they don't all end up in the collection.
What do you have like anything you typically write about?
I've been writing a lot about stories of exploring my queer identity, I guess, in recent years. And I just recently came out to my family as bisexual. So I think part of it was I felt freer exploring that on the page than I did in my day-to-day. Even though, like, in New York, my life in New York and my life around friends, I'm pretty open now. But it was like a way to sort of put a lot of that on the page and work through it.
How was that with your family?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that, like, I didn't know how it was going to play out, and I didn't know how to talk about it, but my mom, like, saw a tweet that I did.
Oh, wow.
And brought it up to me. And it kind of, I was glad she did, because it sort of just opened the conversation, and it was quick, and she immediately was like, you don't have to, like, hide this part of yourself. So that was nice.
Wow.
And that's also a thing on Twitter that, especially in the last year or two, I feel like I've been more open about it in general with people. And like, there's like no, especially newer Twitter friends or whatever, they only know me as the person they meet on Twitter. So there was no like, idea of who I was before or anything with family, so I could just kind of be myself from the jump.
Were your family surprised? Or
No, they had been thinking about it for years. They were like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure he's gay," which honestly, I'm glad that like they sort of arrived at that and worked that out amongst themselves. Yeah, it was the first time anyone's directly asked me on in my family. And yeah, I haven't dated anyone and all that stuff. I mean, we can go down that route if you want to.
You mean
but like, I never brought anyone home and never introduced them to anyone. So it was
you
like,
mean man or woman?
man or woman?
Yeah.
Not even like no one. So
How old are you?
26.
26. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's still relatively late. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, I don't know about the average age these days, but
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like,
as a person, as a human, I'm saying,
Yeah,
it's a lot to hold on to. By
I mean,
yourself.
it was like I didn't realize I was bi until like towards the end of college, and so it was like only like 5 years or so of holding on to it, I guess.
yeah. I've never said to my family, like, I have a male partner now, but I'm pretty much, I used to say bisexual. Somebody told me once that I was pansexual, and I was like, I don't really know if I like any kind of label. Just tend to be a little bit more fluid in the
Yeah.
partners I've dated. But I've never really had that conversation with my family.
Yeah.
Who knows if they'll read this or listen to this.
Yeah. It never came up because dating never came up,
Yeah, same.
so, but it is nice to know that like, if I do have a partner who isn't, a woman, it won't have to be a thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Down the line.
Well, so is it strictly? And feel free to not answer this. It's fine. Is it strictly a societal factor that keeps you from knowing until later on?
I think that's a large question.
It is. I know it's a huge
is.
question. I'm just really curious.
I think for me, and I can only really speak to me, I guess, but I remember there are periods where early on where I thought, am I straight or am I gay? And I think like it's such a binary, right, in society where you're not,
Especially when we were younger.
and especially when we were younger.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
like once I got to college, like the idea of bisexuality or pansexuality became much more of like a concrete idea. But like when you're younger, it's like any interest in a boy means you're gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
I distinctly remember the episode on Sex and the City where
Oh God,
where
that's a painful
where
episode.
Sarah Jessica Parker,
Oh,
whatever her
yeah.
name, and
It's
she
a
goes, "There's no
terrible-
such thing as bi. Like if you
Yeah.
like the other sex, you're gay. Like it's completely
It's a
ridiculous."
terrible episode. It's one that doesn't age well.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where back then it was like, oh yeah, well they celebrate gay people, cool, where it's
Yeah.
like now it's like, yeah, it's completely ridiculous. Like who cares what you are, I've always been very intrigued by like the learning process because I'm reading a book now, and I won't get into this again because I bring up Yuval Noah Harari like a billion times an episode probably. We should have a contest between who do I bring up more, him or Sergio. Sergio de la Pava's like like he's been on here and he's like my hero. Anyway, great. Now I'm still a stalker.
Yeah,
you made
it's
it.
another.
Anyway,
You're a Sergio.
so
stan.
yeah, no, I mean in his latest book,
You are a
What's-
Sergio.
I'm a stan. Yeah, that's my stan. Oh my
Yeah.
God, let's
Oh,
email him
God, yeah.
afterwards. And say, hey. But anyway, yeah. So he's gay. He's not bi. He's just gay. But this is one of the smartest people, like I've ever read. This guy is. I mean, he makes you see everything from an angle you've never seen it before. It's unbelievable, and he does it in extremely cogent terms. This is the third book by him I've read, and it's the first time he's talked about being gay in his other books, but he explicitly states that it wasn't until he was in college that he realized. And it's just amazing. Like to me, more than anything, that just shows how much of an influencing factor society has been. Because
sure.
why else would that be such a like? It wasn't. I didn't need to figure out that I liked women. That wasn't something that I needed to learn when I was 21. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it's extremely oppressive.
Yeah.
And I hope it's better for kids like today, but
I hope so. I mean, there's definitely more media representation than like even when I guess when we were kids, right? Like,
and for the first time we're seeing commercials with like gay couples and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
didn't happen even 5 years ago. You like almost never saw that. you know?
yeah, just acknowledging that it's like it exists in the world.
Right. And it's totally normal, and it's totally represented across like
Yeah.
sentient life forms,
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so we didn't shit on Twitter enough, but that's fine. We can move on.
Well, we discovered you were a stan of Sergio, so I think
That's true. That's true.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm wondering if you would share a little bit of your work with us now,
Yeah.
if
It's a good time.
you're up for it.
Yeah.
Because you read it and it was so lovely.
Oh, thank you. Also, yeah, that was so much fun. I think I told you maybe slightly tipsily that like it's one of my favorite reading series in New York. So
thank
that
you.
was
That's
a
awesome.
treat.
Yeah, we tend to drink quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, and this will be actually my first experience hearing you, because when you came to read, I
Oh yeah, you weren't there.
had fallen asleep on the couch from working so much in the month of January that Katie.
That was the day that we also had a reading before.
Yeah, that
as
was
well.
you read, right?
I
Earlier
read
that
at a
day.
reading at like
Yeah.
3 p.m. that day.
Oh,
And
God.
we had wine starting at like 2 o'clock.
Yep.
So were you just constantly like buzzed?
Yeah. Oh, I was. Yeah. And I came home and I took a 30-minute nap in between. And then I tried to wake him up on the couch and he wouldn't even move. So I just left
Yeah, I mean,
without him.
all I remember is you being like, "You're going to stay here." And I was like, yes, please. So
yeah.
anyway,
So Brian didn't get to hear you. So this is
this is great.
exciting.
Yeah.
So I have a flash story called "A Mountain of Invertebrates,"
Ooh, I
and it hasn't been published.
Ooh, so you can pick it up, people listening.
Okay. Austin orders an entire seafood boil for himself. He ignores the crawfish and halved cobs of corn, focusing instead on the crab legs, which he cracks open with such force the buttery juices mist Jorge's face. Jorge's plate is nearly empty now. He had devoured his crispy fried cod sandwich in 5 minutes and spends the rest of their meal together picking at coleslaw, catching only 2 or 3 strands of wet cabbage at a time on his fork. Austin finishes a 4th crab leg and leans back in his chair. He drapes a napkin over his lap. "That was delightful," he says, "but I can't eat another bite." Austin smiles at Jorge, his teeth flecked with parsley. "You should try some," he says. But seafood is not Jorge's thing. The ocean, he believes, is swarming with aliens. No need to search for them in outer space when they lurk in the darkest depths of the earth, and certainly no reason to eat them. To roll the aquatic flesh around in his mouth would be an act against God. Hard pass, he thinks. But there was still so much shrimp and sausage and crawfish and potatoes cooling out on the newspaper tabletop. He imagines biting into the untouched crawfish now, some uneasy chewing to start, then a rough swallow. Then, he suspects, the dead little fucker would be revived by the bath of his stomach acid. Reborn, it would swim down, deeper into his gut, burrowing itself within him forever. "Jorge, you must really try some," Austin says again. "Just one bite, please." He grabs a lobster from the pile, twists its body, and pulls until the tail separates from its torso. They could get a to-go container. There's still time. It's what other couples might do. Wrap up the remains and tote the bounty back to Jorge's apartment, to be later consumed in a post-sex haze. But that never happens, does it? Jorge sees into next morning, and he knows Austin would leave the bag in his fridge, as he had done with a slice of vodka pizza from their first date, and the stuffed cabbage from date 2, and the Thai food from the 3rd. The chocolate cake from date 4 never made it home. But for all those other leftovers, Jorge made sure to eat them. He was raised to be a garbage disposal. No waste, never. He picks over whatever Austin leaves in the mornings, shortly after Austin vanishes into the back seat of a lift. Off to class or work, Austin says. Alone in his kitchen, scraping his fork against the aluminum takeout container, Jorge watches the Lyft app every time. Notes how the driver passes Austin's job, and the school, and even his apartment. Jorge watches Austin slip away, upstream. Austin is squeezing the lobster's torso now, and the red shell compresses under his fingers, cracking. Juice rains down over the newspaper. From the carnage, Austin presents Jorge with a lump of yellowish-green meat pulp, balanced delicately on his fingertips. "That's it?" Jorge laughs. He has to. Everything feels too wild. So much effort and mess? All that for so little? He's serious. He's confused. "You'll see what all the fuss is about," Austin says. He swears it, raises the mask to Jorge's face. Jorge thinks about the bag of seafood, how it will surely sag, the paper thinning out over time, long after tonight, eventually breaking open all over his bottom shelf. Rancid garlic butter everywhere, and a mountain of invertebrates left to rot. Jorge opens his mouth, welcomes Austin's fingers. He rolls the meat on his tongue, fights against the stinging in his eyes and rising bile in his throat, tries to push through. Austin has a wide smile and 2 celebratory balled fists. So good, right? He gasps. I knew you'd love it. But Jorge is still chewing the lobster, nodding his head over and over again. The hope is the movement will guide the sea bug down his throat, and he can will himself into saying this thing is good. The hope is it won't be a lie.
Ooh.
Reading always makes me nervous.
Get a cold glass of oat milk to wet your whistle.
Refresh.
What is Jorge and Austin's fate, do you think?
They're not meant to last.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
I thought there was a hint of perhaps treachery.
Yeah.
When I heard going past his job, past his work, I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. I think when I was writing it, their relationship is not defined, and Jorge wants it to be, but Austin doesn't.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
How do you? I'm always very impressed by people who can write flash fiction because I have tried my hand at it many times, and I just always feel unfinished or unable to capture something in so few words. So I'm guessing, what drove you to start writing flash fiction? How do you feel about it? I guess, what does it make you feel?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think when I first started writing flash, I had a lot of drafts for longer stories. They were kind of dead stories. They weren't working longer, talking like 2,000, 3,000 words. But there were still parts of them that I liked and wanted to keep. And so I cut down and refined and sort of stripped away any bloat.
And a lot of times the information that you thought wasn't in that part is in there, anyway, those parts that you stripped away, it's still there.
Yeah. It was just about sort of enhancing it and making it stronger. Those parts that really worked, which I found I could do through shortening and compression. And, and then the story would be about 1,000 words instead of 2,000. And that's sort of how I started writing flash.
Is your collection all flash?
No, I don't think so. I think it might be a mix of flash and longer. That's the hope, because I still struggle with writing longer short stories.
So that would be quite a number of stories if they were mostly flash.
Yeah, and it can work. This story that I read, I've been kicking it around for like 5 to 6 months. Some of my flash can take a while. Some of it, not all of it, but some of them can take as long as like a longer short story, even for me. And so if I was doing like 40 flash stories for a collection or something, I don't know how long that would take me to do. Yeah.
I mean, I write really slowly too. I mean, your first draft of your novel, Brian, what the very first draft, how long did that take you?
Less than a year, but I threw the entire thing out.
Yeah,
so,
but it took me.
I wouldn't advise to do what I do.
It took me 2.5 years to finally finish a first draft of my novel.
Yeah, but it was infinitely better than my first draft. So it's just kind of different process.
Yeah.
It's like I had to write that first. I mean, I was like 23, 24 when I started it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still think if I wrote another draft, I don't think I'd have to toss it all, but it would definitely, there'd be more drafts before I called it a first draft.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think nothing is ever for me really a first draft. It's made up of like mini drafts.
Yeah. Even Katie looked over it, once or twice before she called it a first draft. So it's,
Yeah.
Do you have any plans to write long form, or are you strictly a short form writer?
Eventually, I do have an idea for a novel that I've been kicking around for a couple years, but that's usually a good sign that it's like worth pursuing for me, that if I haven't stopped thinking about it for about 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I think I want to do the short story collection first because it's really urgent in my mind, or the energy is, and then hopefully. And my undergrad thesis was a novel, so I've done it before. I don't know if I haven't done it again, but I've written like a long form.
Would you ever revisit that, or is that just
I tried.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote like 3 novels before this one, and not worth going back to.
No, because I look at it and I can think of things that I could improve and do better, but like I don't want to put in the time.
A lot of times it's like an original sin problem. It's like there is a spark that galvanized you to write the novel, but it was kind of flawed. And the whole organization of the idea would need to be rearranged. And it's like, by the time you're X years past that, you probably have, like you said, you have this novel idea kicking around. You have ideas that you're more burning to write. So but I know what you mean. Katie has this novel, The Sideshow Children, that she started in grad school, and then she put down to write which is working title Sunny. But she's thinking about going back to that one too. But yeah, and since I've finished like almost the last draft of this one, this one that's coming out in September, I've had one for about 2 years now that I've been thinking of, and I've drafted it a little bit, but but that idea, when it sticks with you for a while, it's like, it can even shift a lot, but it's still that the like zeitgeist or like gestalt of that idea is like still there,
Yeah, and I consider all of it part of the writing process. Like, though I haven't sat down and put any of it on the page, it's like been marinating, and when I do come to the page, I think it'll be a stronger idea than if I just ran to it immediately.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things I've learned, even in this first novel that I'm going to publish, I did not plan enough. And, that's why I tossed the whole first draft and all that stuff. And it's not like you have to outline, but you do have to have, you have to say, oh, I know what I'm doing here. And then that can shift and mutate and everything like that. But, you have to be somewhat certain of something combined with a certain uncertainty. Yeah, I definitely made that mistake. And I think that's why I rewrote it so many times.
Yeah, it's tough.
So we're coming up on an hour here, the close of it. And I'm just wondering if you, Chris, would hit us with some outgoing oat milk. Oat milk.
Yeah, oat milk.
God, I don't know if I have that many.
What are these? What are we? Oat milk tweets?
They sent him an oat milk fact sheet.
But it's more for Planet Oat specifically, but I can tell you...
I don't understand their business model.
I don't know if I can hit you with any facts. There aren't that many facts on here. I can tell you caloric breakdowns.
Made with oats.
Made with oats.
Nutritional facts.
What is in oat milk? Is it just straight oats? Yeah. Did we already cover that?
What if I pack the oat milk? What if I pack the oat milk? God,
see, you cannot say it. It's so hard. Oat milk.
Yeah.
Oat milk.
Hard.
What if I...
The Mighty Oat.
Well, I can tell you that the dark chocolate has 8 grams of sugar added, but the other ones don't, and there are 3 other flavors.
I like the dark chocolate.
What are the other flavors?
Original, extra creamy, and vanilla. And earlier today, I tweeted that I mixed the vanilla and the dark chocolate, and it was a delightful little treat.
You know what? We're going to settle this. I cannot stop thinking about it. Can you make oatmeal with oat milk?
I mean, yeah, you can make oatmeal with anything.
Yeah, you can make it with cola if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, let's be real.
We're being serious.
Let's
be what does the internet have
reasonable
to say?
here, okay? Come on.
Let's show me Reddit.
You guys are the kind of people that pour milk in before you put the cereal in the bowl. Okay, I don't appreciate that.
At least we're not the kind of people that like drink a glass of milk at midnight, Brian.
Oh.
Like a
I only do it to pair with my drugs.
That is true.
In that case.
Milk, there's nothing. Honestly, I think we could be pioneers in this sector.
I think the next step for you, Chris, is there's got to be a photo shoot.
God, no.
Oh, yeah. And no, we need to dress you in like a diaper with like 2 spoons and then sit in a bowl of oat milk.
Why?
Like oatmeal.
Why?
Because that's amazing.
I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of...
I'll do it.
Honestly, I was more...
Listen, someone's got to step up.
I was more thinking Chris in like a tux with like a martini glass of
chilled oat
milk.
That's the thing. I'm not getting that vibe.
But then like pushing a cow out of the way.
Interesting.
Like a guy in a cow suit, like pushing it out of the way. Like, I don't need you. That's,
Interesting.
That's the kind of exclusivity that I'm thinking for oat milk.
I've been thinking of... I've been recently like rewatching Olivia Colman's Oscar acceptance speech, and that moment where she looks down at the award and she's like, "This is hilarious." That's sort of been my entire attitude about this whole process. Like every time I reach into the work, like all of the cartons I have are in my office fridge. And whenever I pull one out, I'm like, this is
so
funny. This is so funny.
You're just savoring your oat milk.
I've been trying, but it's going fast.
They gotta send you more Planet Oat.
We
Can
should.
you imagine if I just email that same woman and like, can I get another? Like,
Yeah.
Like I need a fix.
You should really email her when we drop this episode and be like, I plugged you guys.
Oh my God.
On this podcast.
I know.
Give me the hookup. Give me my goods.
I really think we should, after we do the transcript, we should just send it to her and say, just does this work?
Yeah.
I already tweeted at them.
No, I mean, like, we should send the we should send the transcript in an email and just say, does this work?
Would you like to work with us? This is the type of
Just
content.
Like, just really vague. Just like, does this work?
Oh, like subject line. Does
Yeah,
this
like,
work?
does this work? Please,
Bio.
please advise. Just send.
And then when they don't respond in a week, just circle back.
Still waiting on that shipment, guys.
25 pounds. Overnighted from Massachusetts.
You should tweet. No, yeah, we should also tweet, like, some Breaking Bad shit where it's like, oh yeah, we just hit up one of your oat milk truck shipments and we're like holding it ransom for like millions of oak trees.
How many oats does it take to make a glass? Do we know that? Is that on the fact
Well,
sheet?
there is.
Google that.
Okay, I did Google the minimalist baker, who should pay me now.
Everyone should pay
How
us.
to make, and this is, how to make oat milk. Homemade creamy oat milk with 2 ingredients in 5 minutes.
So we're
We
gonna
just blew up their spot, dude.
we're
This
gonna
whole
get
business-
off the podcast and we're all gonna fill up the bathtub
Oh my God.
and we're gonna stomp on some oats.
There's a picture, guys. Look, there's a picture of a blender with some water and oats,
Oh, there's a blender involved?
and then you have oat milk.
Oh,
And
so
then-
it's just blended oats?
No, it's not blended oats. It looks a little more complicated. Ingredients: 1 cup rolled oats, 4 cups water,
All
a
right.
pinch salt, a date.
Whoa.
1 whole date. That's it. Just 1
For
date.
sweetness.
Okay.
Must
Anyway.
be.
All right. We're gonna close it up.
Thanks, Chris, for being on
Yeah,
the podcast.
This has been great. I have very much enjoyed my oat milk experience. And I will be in touch. My people will be in touch with your people. They will get to the oat milk people. Planet Oak.
Oak milk people.
Watch out.
I love the idea of you reaching out to them directly and be like, we were on a podcast with Chris. You know Chris.
Yeah, Yeah.
He influenced us onto your
We've
oat
been
milk.
influenced.
We would like some, please.
Okay, that's it for today's episode. If you like what you heard, please subscribe and review on whichever platform you're listening. You can get in touch with us on Twitter at Animal Riot Press or Facebook and Instagram under the same name, or through our website, animalriotpress.com. This has been the 11th episode of the Animal Riot Podcast with your host, Brian Birnbaum, and featuring Christopher Gonzalez. Transcripts for our deaf and hard of hearing animals are provided by Jonathan Kay, and we are produced by me, Katie Rainey. See you later, you filthy animals.
Click, word, yes sir, it's the burn. Bombing on y'all and getting gully as the fern. I don't know much about Lee.